The recovery, life after heartbreak. Have you ever asked the question, how in the world am I supposed to move on from this? Perhaps this is the loss of a loved one, a spouse, a child. Perhaps the heartbreak came from a strenuous relationship, be it romantic, familial, be it something that happened in your corporate career. Whatever has caused you heartbreak, you are in the right place, because here at the recovery, you are going to find love, support, and you are going to recover. You're going to hear stories of those who have experienced transformation and restoration. You'll also hear stories of those who will never see either of those things. Yet, there is life after their heartbreak. If you'd like to tell your story, please click the link in the bio to apply to be on the podcast. And if you are chosen, you will hear from one of our team members. Thank you in advance for listening. Welcome back to the podcast, The Recovery, Life After Heartbreak. I am your host, Vivian Bell, and I've got my girl, Ciera Burgess, with me today.
What up?
We're just super excited to be here with you guys. As the intro tells you, that heartbreak can be family relationships, it can be divorce, it can be even co-worker situations. There are things in life that just can break our hearts, that can cause us to have things, traumatic, emotional things that we need to recover from. And so on here, we're just going to talk about those things. And so you just get to be privy to the conversation between me and my amazing daughter today. The title of the podcast today is When Freedom Comes. So Ciera, last week you said something that blessed literally my whole soul. You kept saying over and over again, you said, it's like freedom. You said you feel so free after you establish healthy boundaries and you said cut people off, which is a healthy boundary. And then as I was thinking about it, God reminded me of Boundaries, Freedom's Line, the support journal that he gave me that we published last year. And God gave me the support journal, and then he showed me how freedom came when I preserved me as opposed to worrying about the feelings of others. And that's not that we don't care about other people, but our need to please others should never supersede the righteous preservation of ourselves. Or else we are serving other people as if they are our God and ignoring what God is telling us to do, which is in essence worshiping idols and being disobedient. What are your thoughts about that?
I'm sorry. I was listening, but all I have to say is, like, when you set up the boundary, when you cut people off or when you cut certain things off, it just, again, freedom. And like, it's just, I don't know. It's like that feeling. It's like, I don't know how to explain the feeling. It's just like, like, it's just like
you can breathe.
Right. And it's like no stones on your heart. I mean, if that makes sense, like nothing weighing you down.
It absolutely does, because so we can establish boundaries without being bitter or hateful or having any animosity in our spirits towards a person. We can just say, you know what? My interaction with you is so toxic that it is not healthy for my life. So I'm going to set up healthy boundaries that limits your access to me, if not demolish your access to me, because some people just don't get to have access to you because they don't value the time that you give them. They do not value you as a person the way that they should. And that just means that you love yourself enough and you're wise enough to acknowledge that they have made a choice to do that. And that because you are choosing you and to love you, that it is okay to, as you say, cut people off.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So I want to talk about those. So when you establish a boundary, you do have, freedom does come, but then sometimes awkwardness comes too.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of times it can be like a relative or whatever, and a friend, it could be somebody you were dating, engaged to, married, whatever it is. And like, so initially it's going to be some awkwardness. How do you handle the awkwardness once you've established a boundary with someone?
Okay, that I'm still learning that, like, how to not feel awkward, because you know what you needed to do to protect your feelings or just to protect yourself. So like I'm still learning, like if like I have to cut somebody off and it feels awkward, it won't always feel that way. And you just have to keep going down that path and keep reminding yourself of the reason why you set up that boundary. Like, hey, for instance, this person, we was dating. I mean, I know
it's an example. Go ahead.
Yeah, but yeah, like I cut off this guy, and like he hurt my feelings. I don't know. He did something I didn't like, and I just couldn't live with it anymore. I just had to keep reminding myself he might still be good looking, but I'm just saying you have to keep in your heart. You have to first pray. First off, pray, and second, don't like be like thinking like that. Like you like, I don't know. Just don't think like you're above them, but like you
Right.
know, like you can't be thinking you're better. And then also too, just remember that why you set those boundaries again, and have that in your mind, because sometimes you be like, maybe I made a mistake. No, but I love him, and it's just you just have to remember.
Both of those things were really, really good that you stated, and it reminds me again of the journal, the support journal, because one place in there it talks about heart check, like where's your heart at, so you don't demonize a person. Like some people, they are like possessed, and they are like, they do have the worst intentions for anybody they deal with, and so you just have to accept that, but you don't have to demonize them and they become somebody that you hate and you're spewing out certain things towards them, and there's that bitterness and all of that. So you definitely have to have a heart check. But then also in this support journal is a place where you write down why I like actually instilled this boundary in the first place, because like that example was absolutely perfect, because like you can know that this person isn't good for you, and again we can talk romantically, and but then you be like, oh girl, he is sexy and I like the way he says this, and child, but he kissed me,
you have to draw it back together,
right? Get your whole life
strong,
together,
ladies.
Yes ma'am, exactly. And be like, listen, that sexy didn't change you breaking my heart, being rude to me. For some people it's a physical abuse, and so you have to recognize that, hey, you know what, there is a reason why I did this before. And that's why I think it's so important that we also talk about the whole forgive and forget, because if I forget what you did to me, you're liable to keep doing it over and over again. And so here I am forgiving you over and over again because I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to forgive and forget because that makes me a Christian. No, it doesn't. It makes you foolish, really.
Yeah.
Because if I forget that you're a robber and I just keep putting my purse down in front of you, you're going to take my whole paycheck out of my purse. You understand me?
Yeah.
And you're going to be like, oh shit, easy target. And you're going to keep showing up. Mm-hmm. Exactly. We can't be doing that. We getting our lives together. We can't have it set up like that. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, somebody is gonna get hurt if hey, I work hard for my money and I got bills to pay, so I'm just
yeah. And so that's just, and it's not about saying that you don't leave room for the person to grow. Right. What you're saying is that you haven't proven growth. You haven't shown that you want to be different, and your track record shows that if I leave my purse, you have sticky fingers and you're gonna steal my money. So I'm not gonna leave my purse. I might forgive you, but see, the thing too that people often forget that is, yes, I made a decision to forgive you, but forgiveness is a process, because it wasn't just that you stole my money. So you stole my money and you might not be able to get that back, but then you may be able to give that back. But what you can't give back is the distrust that I have in you now. You can't give back the fact that you literally broken that. Now you've changed the dynamics of our relationship, friendship. So like those are all things that, and I'm sorry, can't fix instantly. It's a process. And again, if you continue with the same behavior, then you can, like, it's not that I'm not forgiving you, but I'm just no longer going to allow you to be in my life, because I already know that you've made a choice. And it's absolutely, I know that everything we do in life is absolutely a choice. Love is a choice. Forgiveness is a choice. But also hurting people, being a narcissist, gaslighting people, that is a choice. I had someone that worked on a team with me once. She said, I used to be a manipulator. She says, well, I often manipulate. She goes, but I don't think that, she says, I think that it just happens. Like, you don't think about it. And I said, no, ma'am. even if that's your character, you think about it, because to manipulate someone, you have to think through the steps you're going to take, the things you're going to say, and the things you're going to do in order to get that person to believe the way you want them to respond the way you want them to. So I said it is absolutely calculated. It is absolutely wrong. And also manipulation is considered witchcraft, according to the Bible. So if you're out here manipulating people, we need you to stop manipulating people, as Mr. Brown say.
We ain't being city girls out here.
Listen.
Yeah, we ain't manipulating no man or
anyone
vice
in general.
versa.
Exactly.
Regardless of you're male or female, we ain't manipulating anybody for no money.
Listen.
Period.
So we're also talking about when freedom comes. Sometimes not only is it difficult, the awkwardness, because now you had the dynamic changes, but sometimes people feel awkward because they feel free.
That's good. I mean, like, a person could be so used to being bound so much, whether that's in sin or like because I don't, whether it's because of sin or because of how people are treating them, and they're so used to it that sometimes people want to go back to it. And that's why one of the things I said earlier was to remember how that person treated you or why you set those boundaries up so you won't go back.
Exactly. And then some people blow up good things because they are so used to being, as you stated, treated bad. So when a good man or a good woman comes along, they will absolutely blow that up because they have a greater fear of being successful in a relationship than they do at ruining one or blowing it up. And that is sad. I literally watched someone live their life that way, and they admitted to me one day, I'm like, what is your problem? And the person said to me, he said, you don't understand. I live every day of my life in fear. And then he had more fear over us actually getting married, over us having successful relationship and having a life together. He was more afraid of that than he was to not have that, to not obey God and actually, get married. He was more afraid of doing that than he was living the life that he had. That's all he knew. That's all he saw. Even his grandparents, uncles, and aunts currently still live lives of like dysfunction in relationships, from cheating to just all kinds of things. And literally, he was not willing to expand his mind for relationships. I shouldn't say expand his mind, but like really be able to embrace it mentally and emotionally and live a healthy life. So it was just like, hey, this guy's gonna live his life like this forever. So I had to be able to not demonize him, see the good things about him, see the good things that we had, how we were friends for decades, all of those things, be grateful for all the things he did for me, for you guys when you were younger, but also know that I loved myself enough to not return to that, because in this season of my life, I would have to shrink way, way down in order to even be the same version of Vivian I was at the time when we were in a relationship. And this new freedom that I have, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely just cannot. I am not shrinking. God let me know there is no more shrinking in my life. He's like, no, ma'am, like that's not happening. I need you to go into a room and fill a room. And there's so much freedom in filling a room. And when I say filling in the room, it's not me. It's not an arrogance thing. It is allowing what the gifts God put inside of me and letting the Holy Spirit let those gifts pour out so that God gets glory and honor in everything I do and in every room that I walk in. And so that, to me, walking in my purpose, obeying God, being loved by God the way he loves us is so much more rewarding than it would be for me to go back and shrink just to say I got a man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Some people would rather just say they have a man. I have to tell you, one of the things I really respect about you is that you have never allowed life and the things that you see happening in other people around you, whether they were sleeping around or getting married or any of those things, you didn't let it push you. Now, I know it's been difficult, being a young adult and those kind of things, but one of the things I'm going to tell you is like how you have kept your morals and just honored what God has said that you should do and be with your life on level of a relationship. That is honorable, because there are very few young women your age who can say that they are living a life of chasteness and just being the woman of God that God has called them to be. And I am honored to be your mom. And it just blesses me because I wasn't even able to do that. So I thank you for the example.
Well, thank you. All I gotta say is I'm it has come up a couple times, like you should like why ain't you married now? You see most of the people in your high graduating class either married or married with kids or are having kids, and even the kids that were younger than me that I still like are friends with on Facebook and Snap, they have kids and married and stuff. But like right now I'm just focusing on like my relationship with God and myself, because I don't want to be in a marriage where like I don't know who I am in Christ and all the things that he has for me. So yeah, but I know for a fact that whoever I marry, he gonna be A1.
I know that's right, because your mama done prayed for that for years.
Yeah. And then how about guys? She prayed I get married or find somebody at 30.
No, it was actually not 30. It was 35. And what I had you say, so she's trying to dime me out.
Yeah.
When she was a little girl, I would make her repeat after me that she was, that her body was a temple of God, and she was not going to let anyone defile it. And I had her say, and I prayed that she would go to college, get 2 degrees, own a house, 2 cars, and then she could date. And I said, Lord, that'll get us to 35. So I mean, hey, she's 26, so we're almost there. But she did tell me recently, when I told her that probably like a year ago, she's like, I need you to go back and fix this with God, because like, listen, I'm about to be 26 and I don't have a boyfriend yet. But you know what? Even her brother told her, like, it's not all it's cracked up to be. Keep staying on the path you're on, because the life that she is living is so honorable. And I'm just honestly, truly, truly, truly proud of you.
Thank you. I love you so much, Mom.
I love you too. You know, you're my girl.
You my girl.
I love you so much. You got anything you want to add today before we tell the people deuces?
Hold up. I might have a scripture.
You better come on with the word. I'm talking about that. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, ma'am.
Hold on a second. I have to find it.
You can look it up. You got time. So see, when her mama's not on it and bring y'all the word, the scripture, she gonna give you something to encourage your spirit as well. We thank you guys for listening, for following, for those who have been following or participating or whatever y'all do. To the previous podcast, She Who Believes, which now airs on Thursdays. You guys have followed us over to the recovery. We appreciate the way that you've honored us with your time. Because we know that you can do so many other things with your time or choose other podcasts, but you continue to trust us to speak what God has put on our heart to share with you. And we just thank you for that so very much. And I believe the woman of God has a scripture for y'all.
Okay. So I actually got 2. 1 Peter 5:7, cast all your anxiety on him before he cares for you. Oh, and I do want to let you know, I don't know what version this is. It might have been a CSB I know it's not a JK. I mean, a New King James version, because this is like speaking like how we speak and not Victorian. But anyway, Isaiah 35:4, say to those who have an anxious heart, be strong, fear not. Behold, your God will come with vengeance, with the recompense of God. He will come and save you.
Oh, that's real good. Thank you for that. That's a reassurance that God is for us. He sees where we are. He knows what we're going through, have gone through. So even if you're in the midst of heartbreak and you're like, I still don't know how to get over this, trust that God knows where you are. He will come and get you. As a matter of fact, he's already really sitting in the midst of your situation. So seek his presence. He will bring with him peace and joy. He will also bring wisdom as you ask him. He said that he'll give that to us liberally. So just trust God. And if you have any questions for us, you can go over to the website, mindingwhatmattersnow.com. If you are finding like you still need help or you have questions, you can go over and leave a voice recording. Or you can also just email us at info@mindingwhatmattersnow.com. Or you can fill out a contact form at mindingwhatmattersnow.com. Or you can schedule a session and we'll be happy to coach you, counsel you, or whatever you stand in need of. So until next Tuesday, you have listened to the podcast, The Recovery, Life After Heartbreak with Vivian Bell and my co-host, Ciera Burgess.
Have a nice day, y'all.
There is life after their heartbreak. If you'd like to tell your story, please click the link in the bio to apply to be on the podcast. And if you are chosen, you will hear from one of our team members. Thank you in advance for listening.